What is up? What is up? What is up? RedNationBlogga back with another video, but this one in particular doesn't directly correlate or doesn't directly relate to the Houston Rockets. This one is a little bit different. As we know, last offseason, the NBA commissioned a rule saying that players have to play 65 games at least to be eligible for All-NBA, All Defensive Team selections, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, pretty much all of the big bang awards and everything going on in the NBA. This happened because of the load managing that a lot of teams were doing and holding out with stars such as Joel Embiid, such as Kawhi Leonard, such as Ben Simmons, Paul George. This was the rule that was implemented. Anthony Davis, LeBron James. This was the rule that they implemented. However, I don't think that the NBA kind of fashioned the next step of or the players that this would affect or unaffect unfairly in a certain way. Because now a guy like Tyrese Haliburton, who doesn't miss games, who had a significant injury and who missed like a month of time with that injury, he's upset because he's like, well, damn, it's a stupid rule because, yes, I'm back playing now. However, I still may have to maintain this injury as the season progresses. And he knows that come playoff time, he wants to play his best, which means he may have to miss a game here or there in order to get to that point where he's able to be ready to go at the best of his capabilities come playoff time. Tyrese Haliburton is quoted as saying, I think it's a stupid rule like plenty of guys in the league, but this is what the owners want. So as players, we got to go out there and play and do our job, playing 65 games if we're able to, unquote. Tyrese Haliburton has $40 million on the line. He has $40 million on the line. If he doesn't make All-NBA team, instead of his salary taking up 25 or 30% of the cap, it takes up 25% of the cap. And that's that $40 million. That's the difference between $40 million and not making $40 million. So I definitely understand where he's coming from in that regard. And I think that Tyrese Haliburton needs to be mad at the players, the other players that are habitual line steppers. I think he needs to be mad at the other training staffs that are habitual line steppers. But most importantly, Tyrese Haliburton needs to be mad at NBA fans. See, NBA fans for the past decade have put so much emphasis on what you do in the playoffs matters. 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 Regular season doesn't matter. That's what NBA fans have been telling players for the longest, for the last 10 years. I don't care if you have 45 points. I don't care if you go out there on a nightly basis, play on a sore quad, play on a sore tricep, play with a headache, play with a bad stomach, play with a bad wrist. I don't care about that. Do your job and then go into the playoffs and then do the same thing. And if you don't, we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to slander your name. We're not going to use context. We're going to just keep and kick you and kick you and kick you while you're down. Meanwhile, you have players like Jimmy Butler, who plays 43 games in a regular season, goes into the playoffs, plays at a phenomenal level because he hasn't played more than half the games in the regular season. And then everybody calls him the best player in the NBA. So now other players are going to see that and they're going to follow suit. So fans have some culpability in this as well. And there are some fans that are happy and there are some fans that are upset about this new rule. It just depends on how you see it and what side of the coin you land on. For me personally, I'm happy. I don't like that guys get to play half the season or 54 games, go into the postseason, and then now they're called the best because they're fresher than the other guy that played 78 games. Personally, I'm glad that they're taking away those accolades. But a lot of those guys don't care about accolades. If you look at Jimmy Butler, I think last year made third team All-NBA. He should not have made third team All-NBA. Then he goes into the postseason, goes to the finals, and everybody is focused on that. And I'm sitting there saying, hold on, if he didn't play a lot of the season, how can we give him his flowers? Part of being an all-time great is playing from October through the playoffs. It's not picking and choosing when you want to play and when you don't want to play. That's not what makes you an all-time great. That's not what made Michael Jordan an all-time great. That's not what made Larry Bird an all-time great. That's not what made Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, or any other great player that you can name in the history of this game. That is not what made them a great player. They did not pick and choose their spots, pick and choose matchups, and then go from there. That's not what they did. It's just not. That wasn't the way of the game. Somewhere along the line, things got lost and things got confused, and people went to a hyper level of it. And now look at where we're at. Players like TYRESE Haliburton are now suffering the consequences of his contemporaries. That's how you get to a spot like this right now. But I do think that the NBA could do something to adjust this rule. Just like with the in-season tournament, the NBA had a point differential. You may lose, but if your point differential is this, you can advance, blah, blah, blah. So now you had teams down up 30 with 2 minutes left to play, still trying to run up the score. So Adam Silver saw that and said, hey, you know what? We're going to have to tweak some things. So just like he's tweaking things with this, I think there needs to be a habitual line stepper rule. That's what it needs to be. If you are Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, any of these players, the punishment needs to be harsher for load managing. But even like a player like LeBron James, he's 39 years old. So if you're Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James Harden, LeBron James, and you're over 35 with X amount of minutes played in your career, the load managing rules shouldn't apply. It has to be some type of stepping process, and it has to be some type of common sense process to not punish guys that miss significant time with significant injuries. But that's all I got to say, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, like and subscribe. Thank you. RedNationBlogga, out.